Hey guys, this is for Communications. Welcome to my review of the 1986 sports comedy Wildcats. Now, this is a custom DVD I made because, I decided why not. This is one of my favorite sports comedies of all time, and I'd probably say might be my favorite Goldie Hawn film. I love this movie. Unapologetically, I love Wildcats. It's a really very entertaining, very fun, very different, very unique, entertaining, fun football movie that I think is extremely underrated. And yes, the football sequences might not be the greatest ever, but they have a certain energy and a certain spark to them that isn't there with the replacements, for instance. Or it isn't, and in some moments it's in there with necessary roughness, but it's not, there's just an energy and a spirit and a vibe and a really fun vibe to this film that just rubs off. And it feels great when you watch this movie. You want to stand up and cheer. It's really, I thought the screenplay by uh Ezra Sachs I thought was well done. It's got a really fun group of characters. The football team themselves. I mean, you got the acting debuts of Wesley Snipes, who's right there, and you have as well as Woody Harrelson, who's right in the corner right there. The acting debuts of those two actors. Before Major League, Wesley Snipes was in Wildcats. Um, you have the quarterback, Bird, played by Mykelti Williamson, who's a lot of fun. Goldie Hawn, who plays a female football coach. She's gorgeous in this. She's a lot, she's a really well-written character. She has a lot of moments in the film where she has a chance to stretch her acting muscles and does a great job with that. I even like her family, the actresses who played two little girls. The family drama, yeah, you could say it's a little bit cliched, but it works. To me, it works because I really like this character. Played Molly McGrath, played by Goldie Hawn. There's a very underrated performance by Goldie Hawn, an underrated role, and and her performance and her being in this movie is another thing that makes this film unique. Another film that makes this another part of the another way that this movie stands out from the rest of the pack when it comes to sports comedies, because it's a female lead coaching a football team in the inner city with a bunch of African American kids, including Woody Harrelson and Chirulo, a couple other guys, and some Hispanics, but in the inner city coaching football. And how often do you see that? How often do you see a movie where you have a female lead coaching a football team? You don't see that very often. I think this is the only film I could think of that even does that. So that's another thing that really makes this film stand out. And it's funny. It's got some really funny lines of dialogue. Even the call outs that the players have, like Woody Harrelson is supposed to call the play. He's supposed to do the whole thing where he's doing his cadence. And it's like, hut one, hut two, fuck you, or hut one, hut two, all right, on three, whore on three is like, four, hut, 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 your mother's a whore, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's funny. Now, there's some aspects of the humor I didn't care for, like Chirulo constantly farting all the time, which I've noticed is a really disturbing trend with football comedies. There's the guy farting a lot in this, then there's some farting in Replacements, and there's a farting in Little Giants. Little Giants is a kids movie, so I can kind of see that, but I don't understand why the fart jokes had to be in this movie. But anyway, it also has a really lovable, really a villain that you hate. The coach for Prescott, played by Bruce McGill, who's a total asshole. He's such a chauvinistic dickhead, and he's one of the best villains in a football movie because he's such an asshole, and he makes his players cheat and be a bunch of dicks along and to see him and his team lose and get their comeuppance is crowd pleasing. It's a crowd pleaser. Great cast. Goldie Hawn as Molly McGrath. Swoosie Kurtz is her friend Verna. Robyn Lively is Alice Needham, who plays her daughter, Goldie Hawn's daughter. Brandy Gold, who plays her little daughter, her little girl. James Keach, who plays Frank Needham. He's her ex-husband, and he's a bit too controlling. And Jan Hooks plays his wife, Jan Hooks from SNL. Bruce McGill plays Dan Darwell, the coach of Prescott, who's a total dickhead. Nipsey Russell, fun role as Ben Edwards, the principal of Central High. He has his little catchphrase is like, right. He always says the word right all the time. Mykelti Williamson as Lavander Bird Williams. A lot of fun, very fun character. Tab Thacker is Philip Finch, this big guy who won't really play unless you pay him. But eventually he wants to play without even getting paid because Bruce McGill calls him a fat fuck on the sideline. Wesley Snipes is Tremaine, one of his acting debut. Who's Sue Garcia as Cerulo, as he was known as Nick Corey in this film. So you have Woody Harrelson as Krasinski, little bit role. Willie J. Walton as Marvel, Rodney Hill as Peanut, and a few other actors and actresses as well. Another thing I really like about the film is the soundtrack. Show Me How It Works by Mavis Staples, excellent fun song. Good Hands by the Isley Brothers, another one I like. Razzle Dazzle is a really fun beat to it. It's got that sort of. It's I don't really know what this is. Another one that good one is Joe Cocker's song "We Stand Alone" is another good one. Great underrated soundtrack, perfect for an underrated movie. And the basic gist of the plot is that Molly McGrath is played by Goldie Hawn, is the daughter of a famed football coach who's dying to head her own team. So she really wants to coach a football team. So when her wish is finally granted, she leaves her job coaching girls track at a Prescott High to take over a football team at an inner city high school, Central High, the kind of place where guard dogs are needed to patrol the campus. And at first, the new coach's idealism and optimism are suffocated with racial and gender prejudice. And this film has an edge to it. And that's one of the things that really makes it stand out. Ritchie directed the film. And I think he did a fantastic job directing it, really. And so they're complete dick. The football players are assholes. They're total assholes to Molly McGrath. You know, they call her all kinds of names. They think that why don't you leave and quit so we can get a real football coach? And one guy actually runs into her on purpose and gives her a black eye. They try to get her to leave by spraying, pussy and all kinds of derogatory comments and spray paint in her office, and they break her watch, her stopwatch. And then I love this scene where she finally, instead of just quitting, instead of just running away, Goldie Hawn, her character, Molly McGrath, is one tough bitch. And she's like, no, I'm not trying to, be insulting with a bitch thing. I mean, she's one tough, she's a full metal bitch, really, the reference Edge of Tomorrow. And she's not going to take this shit lightly. And so she makes an ultimatum to the players. She's all like, okay, you want me gone? You want me to get out of here? It's like, yeah. Okay. Well, let's go out there. And, so basically what happens is, follow me. And, all right, we're going to start running. And if I drop before any of you do, then I'm going to leave. But if I am still standing, and you drop before I do, then you're going to listen to what I'm going to have to say. And you're going to do what I ask you to do. And it's an epic scene because she just starts jogging. And you have the song, Show Me How It Works by Mavis Staples, which is a really awesome song. And got a great beat. And she's jogging. And guys keep dropping. And dropping like flies. And then, of course, it starts raining. And then she starts mentioning, oh, I forgot to mention, I ran the Boston Marathon twice. And, of course, that guy's like, oh, shit. And so, she, it gets to the point where it's her and, like, a couple other guys. And then it's just her and Wesley Snipes. And Wesley can't do it anymore. And he collapses down on his knees. And then, she ends up winning. And she ends up, teaching these guys how to play football in a different way with a new attitude about it. Takes in a boombox to practice, starts putting on some, tunes, and gets them to do some, pretty much what it is it's like aerobics, but he gets them to do aerobics, and and she's dancing, gets them to dance pretty much. The workout by dancing. They lose their first game, of course, but they did okay, and then eventually they end up learning how to win. Of course, they don't learn how to win until they get a real quarterback. Woody Harrelson just doesn't have everything, but McGill Williamson does. But the problem is, it can't really get him because he's too busy, breaking the law and being a hooligan. But Molly McGrath decides, I'm going to try. And so she finds him, and they get into this scenario where, a couple of his colleagues end up stealing her car and her van. And so now they're left, and the police are there around the corner, and they're looking for, any suspicious activity. So McGill, Williamson, Bird, and Molly, they hide in the dumpster. And Molly's pretty much blackmails him, extorts him. It says, if you play for Prescott, if you don't play for Prescott, not Prescott, if you don't play for Central High, Prescott, fucking dickhead, Bruce McGill, no, don't play for that team. If you don't play for Central, I'm going to scream. And he's like, what are you doing? You crazy agents? I'm going to, we're in here. It's like, shut up. Shut up. You're going to play for Central? All right, okay, we got ourselves a deal. And so then Bird starts playing, and he's got a mean spiral, and he's got the moves. He can run away from defenders, and so Central starts winning. And even their cheerleaders have an attitude. I just love how the whole team has this attitude, this just attitude about them. Even the cheerleaders do. They're all like, you ugly, you ugly, and just fun stuff. I mean, it's like, they think we're the laughing stock of Chicago. What? Yeah. So let's just, kick some ass. And the players, their attitude perfectly reflected Goldie Hawn's character's attitude in this film. And then he had a little bit of the family drama going on with Goldie Hawn's daughters and her ex. And there's a party that they have, a victory party. And her daughter, she dyed her hair red, and she's done all kinds of crazy stuff. And they get a little bit, Goldie Hawn's being a good host. She's taking away the alcohol from the guys, and her ex shows up at the wrong place shows up at the right place at the wrong time, pretty much. And Wesley Snipes opens the door. He's supposed to pick up his daughters, and he's like, "Yeah, this is a private party." He's like, "Wait a second, and Wesley Snipes starts trying to hit on his wife, and that doesn't end too well, and a little bit of a scuffle ensues, and Molly's older daughter, played by Robyn Lively, ends up getting her nose get bloody nose. And this pretty much pisses off her ex, who decides that he wants to try to get custody of the kids, pretty much. And he does this really underhanded, backhanded shit. And he pretty much sets up Molly to teach jazzercise at some, stuffy private school, Chatham. And I like this scene because she has laryngitis, so she can't speak. And so after she figures out that he pretty much just screwed her and said, you're going to take this position at the coaching jazzercise, and your girls are going to go to the school even though they don't want to, otherwise I'm going to take your kids away from you. And she just pretty much just says, with the rest of her voice that she has, she's like, you motherfucker. And just walks away. And so they end up, there's another scene where the Prescott coach, Bruce McGill, tries to go in and meet with Nipsey Russell and tells him that, you have some players that are eligible because of, their grades aren't high enough. And Nipsey Russell was like, okay, I'll take that into consideration when we get computers in 2 years. It's like, oh. I thought you were a stickler for the rules. Well, I am a stickler, and I could see, you see this? This is an ID badge. You're not wearing an ID badge, so as far as I'm concerned, you're not here. And if you were here, I could have you arrested. Because I am a stickler for the rules, after all. It's like, this is the end of it. You should just try to do your boys a favor before they get humiliated. Right. So that was fun. And so ultimately the Wildcats, they win enough games, they get to the playoffs, and win enough games that they win the divisional round to get to the championship, the state championships. And they have this little party, and Molly gets a gift from them, a new stopwatch. It says on the back of it, you know, from your pussies. And she was originally considering going to tell them she's going to quit because she doesn't want to lose her daughters. And what happens is her daughter puts some alcohol in the punch and gets plastered. And Wesley Snipes and his girlfriend end up taking her home. But then they start having, you know, getting some nookie going on, and then she rings up her dad while she's drunk, and that pisses him off. That's like the last straw. So now he's going to take Goldie Hawn to court for, you know, for custody of the kids. And this is on Saturday, the day before the high school championship game. And she pretty much, what happens is the trial doesn't go very well. And even the football team tries to show up to defend her, and they end up making it worse. And so Goldie Hawn pretty much just agrees to the demands of her ex, and she'll teach at Chatham and stop coaching football, you know, after this championship game. And so, of course, now the players have lost their will, and so they get beat down, and Prescott's a bunch of cheating assholes. So that doesn't help either. Like, they step on their hands, they kick, you know, chalk in their faces, every chance that they have. You know, one guy punches a dude in the face, so he's bleeding. A Wildcats player. So it's just all around bad first half. They're down big. They're down 21-0 in the half. And, you know, Goldie Hawn should say, you know, we can still get into this. It's like, what? You think I'm a quitter? And so she's like, all right, okay. So follow me. So that she goes in and pretty much just tells her husband that, you know, I'm not a quitter. I don't want girls to see a quitter, and I'm not quitting coaching this football team. If you don't like it, you can kiss my ass, pretty much. And the people in the crowd are all like, "You gave her kids. What are you doing?" It's like, stay out of this. And so they end up getting their, you know, their coaches back. They get their mojo back, and it becomes a really exciting, fun game. That's the reason why I really like this movie. It's the last game, much like Best of Times. It's just another very underrated sports comedy with another really, really well done football game at the end. It's really exciting. It's not one of those, oh, you know, last second type victory. It is kind of a last second type victory thing, but it has a back and forth to it, which all the other games, they don't have this back and forth to it. It's just, you know, there's one there, you know, they tie it up, and then Prescott scores, and then the Wildcats score, and then they you know, take the lead. Then Prescott takes it. It was actually a pretty good back and forth football game. Really well shot too. Had a great amount of energy. Like every time the Wildcats would score, it'd be like, you know, it was like they start dancing, you know, and you want to dance with them. It's a lot of fun. And of course, ultimately, Finch ends up helping them get the upper hand. And because, you know, Prescott, the head coach, called him fat fuck. So he's like, I wanted the game. It's like, I'm going to pay you, you know, here's $15. Coach is like, Finch, take your money. Get out of here. Sit back at the bench. I don't want your money. It's all right, Finch, go back in there. You know, block that kick. And he does. It was always weird how they shot the kick, too. Like, he jumps in the air in slow-mo, and his jersey is blowing in the wind, and he lightly taps the ball with two hands. And he blocks it, and so Prescott doesn't get the lead. So now the Wildcats have a chance to win, and of course they ultimately, you know, beautiful pass from McGill from Bird, touchdown. And actually, what happens is that was earlier, and Bird actually ends up running in for the game-winning score, which is awesome. And then, you know, Prescott loses. And Bruce McGill doesn't want to shake Molly's hand, but so Finch picks him up in the air. And he's like, put me down, you ape. And Molly's like, put him down, please. It's like, you got to shake her hand first. It's like, he doesn't have to shake my hand, Finch. It's like, you know, you better shake her hand. And they're like, okay, shit. You know, so Bruce McGill shakes Molly's hand. All right, thank you. Good game, coach. And so if you can put him down now, Finch. And so he drops it. He's like, no. He drops it right in this bunch of mud. And he gets up and he's all like, you know, he's talking to the ref. This isn't over. This isn't over. You know, she paid him to play. This isn't over. He's got money. He's like, you know, check his jock. He's talking to his players. He's like, and his players are like, no, I'm not checking his jock, coach. He's like, check his jock. Like, I'm not checking his jock. It's like, you don't check his jock, you're off the team. That's fine. I'm a senior. So he tries. All right, I'll do it. And he tries to check Finch's jock and just grabs him with two hands and throws his ass into the mud and everything. It's fun. And so ultimately, it's a happy ending. Goldie Hawn, that she ends up winning the state championship. She's still the head coach of Central High. The dickhead at Prescott loses, and she gets her kids back. And yeah, it's and the Wildcats win, and we all win because it's a really fun team to watch play. But anyway, yeah, the movie ends with this rap between the Wildcats players and Goldie Hawn and LL Cool J. And yeah, that's Wildcats. Really enjoyable, fun, entertaining sports comedy with a great pace. It goes by at a really quick pace. It's got a great energy to it. It's very wild and energetic, just like the Wildcats. And great performance by Goldie Hawn. Great supporting cast. It's funny. The football scenes are lively and fun to watch. Might have the best choreography in terms of the plays, but they're still really fun to watch because of the director interjects this energy to it that really makes a huge difference. And of course, the soundtrack helps too because it's a really fun, awesome '80s soundtrack. And all in all, I really love this movie. If there's any little bit of a problem I have, is it kind of slows down a little bit if it's trying to do the family drama thing. And like I said, some of the football choreography could be a little bit better, but the energy helps. It goes a long way. But yeah, the whole scene where Finch goes in slow motion it really doesn't look very well. It doesn't look very good. But other than that, I really like the movie. I don't have very many problems with the film, honestly. I think it's underrated. The critics destroyed it. I disagree. I agree with Rex Reed. He said it had me cheering from the bleachers. Goldie Hawn scores a touchdown. I agree. It's a really fun movie. And I think the critics were way too harsh on it when it came out. And I think it's one of the most underrated sports comedies out there. I think it's one of the best sports comedies. I'd put it up there with Major League. I think it's my favorite football sports comedy. Because Any Given Sunday is not really a sports comedy. But this is. And I'd say it's my favorite football sports comedy. Great cast. Great pace. Fun script with some fun, witty lines of dialogue. Likable characters. Decent football scenes with, with a lot of punch to them. And, yeah, just a very fun movie. I really don't know what to say about Wildcats. It's a rated out of 5 stars. 4.5. 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoy this movie. I think it's a classic, really. I think it's a classic of its genre, and I think it's one of Goldie Hawn's best films. But anyway, I really don't know what to say about Wildcats, except thank you for watching my review, and I will see you guys later. See ya.